Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third-party review. Thanks to the team over at Shozy, you've got a slightly earlier look at the SP-316. For those of you who can read the title and saw that thumbnail, this is of course a 3-0 style take on Dark of the Moon's Sentinel Prime. The box is what it is. It's a very bland black box. It comes with two foam inserts with Sentinel wrapped snugly in the middle. I don't care for the box. What I care about is what's inside. Let's crack it open. And here we have him slowly but surely turn around. I need to get a bigger turntable. I got my little turntable with a big box on top of it with a plate on top of that to try and get him, because he's got such a large footprint with those big chunky feet of his. But this is an absolutely gorgeous rendition of Sentinel Prime. To be honest with you, out of all of the kind of statue or staction figures that I've had over the years from the likes of 3-0, from the companies that make these kind of third-party takes, even like Muscle Bear and stuff that KOs the 3-0 figures with the extra paint, this is by far one of the best looking and nicest figures I've ever had. It's kind of got the levels of detail that we used to get from Forever Toys. I don't know if you remember those. I think they've done like a couple of takes on Prime. But this is built like the Mosho figures or the Muscle Bear. There's just so much heft to him. Now this is a slightly ahead of schedule pre-production sample. There are a few things they are fine-tuning, which I'll get to when we cover the figure. I've got a couple of slightly loose panels on mine which will be glued and fixed for the final production, and it's basically to do with the hips. The hips haven't been tightened enough for this pre-production run. They will be done for the final versions. There is a small instruction text that got sent over to me telling me how to tighten them up, but I don't want to do that. I want to show you exactly how it arrived and tell you that it's going to be done for the final production. But this is just absolutely incredible. Now I know we got that transforming version of Sentinel, which I still regret selling. It was a great figure, and I'm hoping that if somebody does get that back in stock, I would like to get that again. But for now, I would be getting it just to put it in vehicle mode alongside some of my Movieverse vehicles, because this bot mode is the best bot mode version of Sentinel I have ever seen. I'm shooting this in 4K, 60 frames per second, shooting it at ProRes to try and get as much clarity and as much vibrance in those colors as possible, but the camera does not do it justice. I will be doing a photo shoot on this as well. I'll use a macro lens and I'll stack those photos so we get all of that detail in, but this is absolutely sublime. Right, before we get up close and personal with Sentinel, let's take a look at some of the accessories we get. Here's really nice shield with that nice offset handle, nice solid plastic. This feels very much like you'd get with the UFO accessories. Nice big chunky piece. We have his beautiful gun, which obviously becomes the kind of shotgun. That has a magnet activation underneath. We have his blades, which can join together, giving him that really nice big sword. And we get a very nice alternative kind of scuffed up, battle damaged head with a little bit of flex on those bearded pieces. But it does have LED functions, very slight and very subtle, just for the center of the pupils. Now, as amazing as the normal head sculpt looks, and I mean it does look really nice. I love how it's not quite square. Everything's kind of a bit battered and dushed around the side of those heads. Can you not see Leonard in there as well? He really does kind of shine through in this sculpt of Sentinel. But anyway, as much as I love how that head sculpt looks, I honestly think that this battle damaged look does kind of suit the mold better. I know the rest of his body doesn't kind of represent that battle damage, but I don't know, there's something just really nice about the imperfections in that kind of worn and torn head sculpt. It's kind of, I don't know, you're so used to everything being so symmetrical with Transformers, and just for it to be battered and broken the way that it is, I think it really does sell it. I'm starting to sound like a bit of a fanboy, aren't I? I don't mean to. It's just a really, really gorgeous piece. Articulation is very good as well. Again, much like the Muscle Bear sort of thing, and that style. There's kind of a metallic exoskeleton in the inside there. But we have pivot on the head, we have left and right, we have a ball mount on there, so the range is insanely good. The shoulders can come up. We do have these elasticated tubing as well. Everything kind of moves out of the way. We have movable hinges up on the shoulders. There's bicep rotation in there as well. The issue I have with mine is that these sections here aren't glued on for the pre-production. This one here and this one here aren't glued on. Same with this side, and there's one on the foot that hasn't been glued. That will just keep those in for the final. Again, this can come up, and you have this hinged section above the bicep, which allows the arm to come up higher. And as you can see there, that ball socketed hinge allows the arm to come up further. It's just a really nice look. Look at that. If we can rotate the head on that rotating neck hinge first, and then bring the head right round. I love the knuckle dusters. Remember when Prime had the UFO updates? So you could get all of these extra pieces on him as well. Coming around to the side, we've got these chest windows which are hinged. These sections on the chest here are hinged. His diaphragm can go up and down. There's a rotation on the diaphragm. There is a rotation on the waist as well. Do have these points here which stop it from rotating fully on that waist, like so. The tubing here is magnetized, so that won't get in the way. We do get his spiked weapon on his arm as well. Look at the levels of detailing. We get the hinged backpack pieces. This is kind of a rubbery plastic, so that's not going to break. These sections here are hinged. This is hinged. We've got that same sort of spine that you would expect from the 3-0 figures. So when we bend, the spine extends. Coming around to the legs, this is where you'll see there's extra movement here, which there shouldn't be. Basically, when we look here, there's a screw inside here, which I can get to. It's literally just accessing, moving this panel here, and you can get to the screw here. Basically, that screw isn't tightened in these samples as much as it will be in the final. And then this basically can hinge up, you see. It's just that hinge which allows the legs to come further forward, but because there's so much weight in these legs, they just haven't tightened it in the samples as much as it will be. But again, this comes out to the side. You have the hinge on the hip skirts, which can prevent any damage there. That comes all the way forward all the way back. There is a thigh rotation in there as well. We can bring this back up. There is a really nice bend at 2 points on the knee. Again, wheels are hinged to avoid anything clashing. Look at that. Fantastic. Really, really good. And you'll see this is the other piece on mine which isn't glued. Again, I can glue that myself. That's nice and easy. Just sits on there, but it wasn't glued for this pre-production sample. Bring that leg back down. So looking at the back of these legs, everything here moves. There's flex in all of these. The feet can go up and down. We've got side to side there, and we've got a lovely, really deep pivot on there. All die cast in these feet. Really solid base to keep him very well grounded and a very well balanced figure. Like I said, yes, I need to tighten up those thighs. Very, very easy to do, but I'm just being honest. That's how it's arrived. That's the message they sent me. Production samples will not be loose. They will be tightened up to the correct tightness to hold those legs up. Amazing, absolutely amazing. The only trick they really missed with this guy is they should have put ball sockets just on those middle two fingers so we could cross those so we could live long and prosper. But unfortunately, they are just pivots. There's not enough motion in there to allow for the fingers to cross. But that's just me being a Trekkie. That was amazing as he looks. You know me, I am a scale junkie. So the question is, how does he scale? Now this is a very tricky question because on paper, Sentinel should be around 30 feet. That was what he was in the original kind of concepts. Prime was 28 feet. Sentinel was about 30 feet. And Megatron was between kind of 33 and 35 feet. Now we get a lot of shots of Megatron and Sentinel kind of being eye to eye. But I don't think that's actually the case. I think he is shorter than Megatron, but taller than Prime. It's dependent on what you go through. You can find irregularities in their height all over. Dark of the Moon, it's a bit of a mess in terms of scale. But to me, as long as he's somewhere in between that kind of Megatron and Prime height, I think that will work. Honestly, this is actually the first time I've done a scale comparison with these. I've had him out, I've been playing with him, had him on my desk, just been admiring him for like the last few days, but I haven't actually done a scale comparison, so my reaction is going to be what it is. Here we have him with the Autobots. I think he looks good. He's a big bot. He actually kind of towers over Prime. Now you can see this is the 2007 Revenge of the Fallen version of Prime. He doesn't have those abdominal muscles that we get with the Dark of the Moon Prime, but that's still a very good scale in my opinion. And don't forget, when he battles Sentinel, he is kind of more on his size because he's got a lot of that jet wing kind of upgrade on him. He's kind of throwing it off as he goes, but he has kind of powered up. In terms of Bumblebee, I still think Bumblebee is too small. I know there is a fan working on a very kind of good, more kind of consistent MPM Bumblebee. See if I can link that in the description. But for now, the only kind of Dark of the Moon Bumblebee I have, he is ridiculously overscaled. That is the kit version of Bumblebee. And yeah, that's way too big. That's a big Bumblebee. I don't have a sideswipe at the moment, but these give you an idea. It kind of towers over Ironhide and Ratchet. But these are the oversized versions of the figures. So it gives you an idea of how he fares. And we'll have to punch out a little bit to get some of our Decepticons in. We've got a couple of variations there of Soundwave. We've got the New Age take on Megatron, and we've got the oversized version of Starscream as well, albeit this is done in the 2007 color scheme, I think, but it gives you an idea. To me, that works. He's not vastly off Megatron's height, and Megatron would kind of slump a lot more. And yeah, I think that works remarkably well, especially considering he's the same sort of size as Starscream. I do need to go and get that Shockwave figure as well to kind of build up my Dark of the Moon ranks, but to me, that looks really good. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. In my opinion, a definitive version of Sentinel Prime. Absolutely gorgeous figure, not without its flaws. Like I say, those panels have to be glued on, but this is the pre-production. I've been advised this shouldn't happen with the final pieces, which is fantastic. I mean, as it is, everything just kind of pegs in anyway. It is literally like you would get with the high-end kits, or the Muscle Bear, or the 3-0. The pegs just pop off, you push them back on. But this thing looks insanely good. I need to practice my poses to try and get some nice photos. Hopefully I'll upload those within the next week, but absolutely blown away with the attention to detail on this. It is fantastic. Now, remember, I'm using the Muscle Bear Prime, which is around 28 centimeters. I believe the newer versions of the Prime from Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, etc., that are coming from the likes of Magnificent Mecha and Unique Toys are slightly bigger as well. They're close to that 29-30 centimeter mark. So they're actually going to be kind of up there, almost at eye line with Sentinel. So is that likely to scale better? I don't have the Black Mamba Prime anymore, but I remember him being slightly taller as well. So that's always something worth considering as well. But for value for money, this thing is exceptional. Highly recommended. Honestly, can't wait to see what other figures this company does. I am hooked. These are sensational. Until next time, for myself and the rest of the Collectables household, thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.